Good morning, saints of God. This is Julia. and I want to tell you something. The Lord wouldn't let me let it go, so I know it's for someone today. Been stirring in my spirit. I want you to know I've been battling sickness for about a week, and taking Pepto-Bismol and all that kind of stuff. So I look kind of weird today. And I'm really going to try, do my best to get strong enough to go to church tomorrow. But all this snow reminds me of a time back 20 years ago. Let me tell you this story. Before I start, let me tell you. In Romans 1:16, it says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek." So that's such a powerful verse. I've used it so many times in sharing the gospel. I've just spoke that to myself. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I am willing to be counted. I'm willing to pay the price. Well, there's a price to pay. A lot of us don't want to pay, and a lot of it's crucifying our flesh, right? But 20 years ago, I had come back to Lexington, Kentucky. I came back to Lexington. I was living in Texas at the time, went through a horrible thing, and ran back to my father in the faith in Lexington, Kentucky, Pastor Callahan, at a Grace Fellowship. Their church was out on Briar Hill Road, and I was just had gotten back, and I had a big Suburban vehicle. I don't remember. I think it was a Chevy. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I had gotten a call from the church saying, "Would you go pick up this little young lady? She called in and she wants to come to church." And she was living by herself in an apartment. So it was snowing outside, and there was freezing ice that would get on my windshield. And so I could only drive so far, and then it would freeze up my windshield defroster was not getting it. It would freeze as fast as it would thaw out. And I was driving in the snow, and this little girl called. She wanted to come to church. And Briar Hill Road is a hill that you have to go out into Lexington, Kentucky. Beautiful $1 million houses out there. And right out in the top of it is nestled a church that used to be a rehab center. And so I went, found the little girl's apartment, picked her up and got her in the car, and on the way back, she was scared out of her mind. I don't think I was sliding around or anything, but it was so bad. And it took us almost 2 hours to get from the town to out there. When we finally get out there, the service is just about over. And the couple that called me said, "We didn't expect you to come," but they had called me, and I was determined to get this young girl to church. I drove out there in the snow and the ice, and stop. I had to stop at gas stations to scrape the ice off the car several times before we got all the way out there. And we did get to hear a little bit of the word, and that's the determination that I'm trying to tell you about. I don't know why. Well, I do know somewhat. Is that because when I was 14 years old, I tried to commit suicide on a handful of Valiums. I just cleaned up whatever my mom had laying around. She was going through menopause, so she was on Valiums from the doctor prescribed. I took all her pills. And of course, they found me plastered on the bed And immediately they took action and they put me in a group called Job's Daughters. That was going to fix the situation. And of course it did, because that's where I met Janet Yoke, my little hero, who lives out in Arkansas. She and her mother introduced me to Jesus, took me to church, brought me to church where I heard the gospel back in 1967. Amen. That's why I have so much joy. The Lord, He loved me so much that He sent His wonderful Son to die on the cross for me. And look at the extent that Jesus went to die for me. God bless you.